Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi everybody, welcome to Bayou Time Sports. I'm Stan Gravois, and we are very fortunate, as we do most weeks, to get the opportunity to talk to Coach Tommy Rybacki of the Nicholls State Colonels. Nicholls unfortunately went down to Eastern Kentucky in a game that is, to put it bluntly, a little misleading. Final score was 27-7, but when you look at the stat sheet in this, it sort of blows your mind, as Nicholls led in just about every stat out there: total yardage, first downs, all of those things. A 7-7 tie at halftime, but in the second half, Eastern Kentucky, due to a few turnovers, kind of take over this when they win at 27-7. Coach, as always, thank you for spending some time with us. I'll get you to reflect on the game a little bit and talk about the things that happened that led to that final score.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you for having me. Always great to be on here. I thought, a game where we controlled the first half, we're able to move the ball offensively, and then also defensively got a bunch of timely stops, and we're really in control of the game throughout the first half. They did break, we just weren't able to capitalize on a couple drives. They did break a run late in the first half. They got them on the scoreboard and tied the game. And then you go into the second half, you look at turnovers that show up, and that really is what swung the game the direction that it did. So obviously a lot to clean up there and be able to correct as we move forward into conference play. 330
yards offensively for you, the Colonels of Eastern Kentucky. Want to make that clear to everybody that if I say Colonels and I get it wrong, it's because there were two Colonels playing. We're probably about 25 yards short of that. Time of possession, you actually controlled time of possession. In the first half, again, listen, he's been playing really well. Miguel Brock has a big run for a touchdown. He had well over 100 yards in the game. But people are going to see 7 points offensively in the game. Is this a deal where it's, we can get it to the red zone, we can move the ball? Unfortunately, it's just coming up with the score?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we put together good offensive plays and a series of good offensive plays, but throughout the drive, you have to be able to sustain. You either have to have the explosive play like Miguel had and he scored from distance, or you got to be able to sustain the drive, continue to execute all the way down through the goal line. And unfortunately, to this point, we haven't been able to do that, but we're working hard at it and going to make some improvements in that area to be able to sustain some drives and finish them out with some points.
I like, we were talking before we came on air, and we were talking about you had gone for it, or the Colonels of Nicholls had gone for it twice on fourth down in the first half. That being said, one of them was a situation where you'd been trying a 50-plus yard field goal. So, obviously things were not going to be that much better if you got a 10-yard punt out of the situation. Yeah. The other one, analytics tells you to go for it. In neither one did you put yourself in a bad way. Because of what you had told me before you went on air, it was a situation where your defense was playing good. You mentioned you controlled it in the first half, and I guess there was a lot of thought that even if this doesn't work out for us, we're still going to be able to hold them deep in their own territory.
Yeah, correct. You talked about two different scenarios. The first one being the 4th and 10 on the, one of the early drives in the game where you're on the 30-yard line. You can try a 50-yard kick. Didn't feel like that was in the cards for us. So instead of punting the ball with the chance for it to roll in the end zone and get a touchback, you go for it. And unfortunately, we weren't able to capitalize on that one. And then on the flip side of that, when we were down near inside the 15-yard line, it's 4th and 3. Analytics definitely say go in that situation. But for us, you weigh out how's the defense performing. And, to that point, the defense was playing really well. And so I felt comfortable that even if we weren't able to convert the first down on the fourth down play, we were going to be able to get a stop and again get another attack with good field position, which we did. I mean, they ended up punting from the 1-yard line, a backed up punt. That gave us an opportunity to have a good return and then also start on the plus side of the field, which are both really good things for us.
3 turnovers in the second half. That is not Nicholls-like. Disappointed, the trend. Talk about how you felt about that and what has to happen going forward.
Yeah, very unfortunate because, two of the three weren't related to decision making or, really poor ball security. You look at the first one, very unfortunate. We're running a running back screen, and Miguel, as he steps through the line, he trips and falls really after the ball is thrown by Deuce. So it's not like he had the opportunity to dirt the ball. He throws it where Miguel is going to be, and it lands right in the linebacker's hands. And it's the same play that Miguel scored on from distance earlier in the game. So very unfortunate with that. And then, later we have one that's on a motion play that we had run a bunch this year to this point, and unfortunately, the center snaps the ball at an untimely time, and it hits the motion man and bounces right to EKU. So both of those, we'll look at what we can do better to avoid those two turnovers and make sure that we don't put our defense in that situation here moving forward. And also, we missed the opportunity to score on both of those drives when it was a one-possession game.
Coach, about 30 seconds left. We ask you this every week. Happy with the effort?
Yeah, very, very pleased with the effort. Man, our guys prepared really well for that game and competed really hard in the game. And it's our job as coaches to continue to look at what can we do better. We got a team that's preparing really well. What are things that we can do better to improve the execution so that we can score more points, keep them off the scoreboard, and put together a winning performance. And so we're constantly working at that.
Very good. Thanks, Coach, for the time, as always. And again, we're hoping for a big win against Lamar this week.
Thank you.
Again, that was Coach Tommy Rybacki of the Nicholls State Colonels. We'll be back with more Bayou Time Sports right after this.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.